Off the beaten path a little bit, we talked to author Jerry Hamza, who's got a book out entitled Outdoor Chronicles, True Tales of a Lifetime of Hunting and Fishing. We'll talk to him a little bit later on. Welcome back to Brainerd Outdoors on B93.3, and I thought we'd do something a little different on the show this week. I came across a book called Outdoor Chronicles, True Tales of a Lifetime of Hunting and Fishing, and the author of the book, Jerry Hamza, joins us on the show this week. Jerry, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about this book because I haven't had a chance to read all of it. I had a chance to peruse a few chapters last night, and you had me locked in right from the get-go, so I can't wait to actually finish the book, and we'll talk about some of the ins and outs of that. But I wanted, before we get into that, we were just talking off air, you're actually in upstate New York right now where your home is, right?
Yes. I live in a town outside of Rochester, New York, so we're on the South Shore Lake, Ontario.
And I think a lot of people who haven't been there, myself, I've always wanted to visit upstate New York, but a lot of people tell me that you're not all that different from us here in Minnesota, both not only hunting and fishing opportunities, but climate-wise too.
No, you're very right. You would find your time here very familiar. It would feel familiar to you, because when I'm in your part of the country, that's what I always think.
Have you had a chance to visit Minnesota a few times?
Oh, yeah. I've been all over Minnesota. Wonderful state. It's a beautiful place.
And that's one of the things in your book. I mean, you basically have traveled not only the country, but the world doing some hunting and fishing. Everywhere you try to, where you stop, wherever your travels take you, you try to take in some hunting and fishing, and that's something you cover in your book.
Most of my life, early on, I spent almost 3 decades in the management of George Carlin. And then a little later in life, I became president of the Cat Fanciers Association, which allowed me to travel the whole planet. And, I always had either, a fly rod or a bow with me.
And what is your choice? I mean, do you like them both equally, or are you more of a hunter? Are you more, because you mentioned fly fishing is one of the passions for you too. Do you enjoy that a little bit more, or you like them both about the same?
They're equal loves. The problem is that hunting is such a narrow band. Fishing, you can fish almost all year round, and we have hunting seasons that in some cases just last weeks.
Let's talk about the book itself, Outdoor Chronicles, True Tales of a Lifetime of Hunting and Fishing. And you mentioned being working and being friends with the late, great George Carlin, had you travel the entire world. And talk a little bit about, some of the things in the book, some of the adventures that you've had, and what really made you want to write this book.
About almost 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I made a decision that if I managed to get through it, I was going to live life a little different. I know that sounds cliche, but one of the things I've always wanted to write. And so once I came through that, I wrote this book. I had such a vast repertoire of really nice, unique, cool trips and adventures that I've been on. And I said, well, I think I can share this. The other thing is I've always been a good storyteller, and American literature has always had good storytellers, but lately we've kind of gone away from, especially in the outdoor world, essays and stories, the kind of thing you would do by a campfire. And overwhelmingly, the outdoor world now is filled with how-to books, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to give something that would be fun to read.
And I totally agree with you, because, I look back at my days when I first started getting involved in the outdoors was deer hunting with my family. And, really, the fun of the whole thing was sitting around after the hunt telling stories. As a young hunter, I was hunting with people that were in their 60s, and you imagine the stories they had to tell through all that time. And I think you hit it right on the head with the fact that, now everything is kind of, here's how you do it, but how did we get there? And I think that's one of the things you cover in your book real well.
Well, I appreciate that. It's our culture, not only in America, but even more specifically the outdoorsman culture, we have such a rich history in telling stories. If you look at Hemingway and his Nick Adams stuff, it's so uniquely American. I'm not sure how that translates in other places. One of the things I love to do is I love to read. I have a library of books. I actually hold books and read them. I've been given Kindles, but I re-gift them. And it's just nice to have, we have such a rich history in such a short time. And you're right. I just, I could read Twain and Hemingway and Poe and lose myself in time. And I think that's one of the best gifts of reading.
And one of the things we love as nature lovers, I mean, to get out in the woods or out on the water, is we just love the relaxation of it. And that was something else you and I were kind of talking about off air. I think we lose some of that in this day and age of everything being on demand, and you've got virtual this and that. When you get out into the woods, that stuff pretty much goes away because you're at the mercy of whatever it is you're out there going after, because you go on their terms now.
No, that's right. That's right. One of the things, we're so enveloped in noise in today's culture, and it's this electronic noise. And one of the things I think most people, outdoorsmen know it because we yearn for it, to get out into nature and to hear the natural noise that's, our species evolved listening to. This electronic noise is not, I don't think it's healthy.
This is actually the first book that you've written. Now, you've had some articles that have been published, but this is, if my information is correct, your very first book.
Yeah, this is my first book. One of the stories in the book, Prose to Poetry, actually won the Robert Traver Award, which is, I think, one of the highest awards an outdoor writer can get. And that got published in Fly Rod and Reel. I've got stuff coming out on various magazines. Writing for magazines is hard because they want to have. It's hard to convert a 5,000 word story into 700 words.
Now, obviously, we don't want to give away a bunch of the stuff in the book, but if you didn't mind, maybe kind of embellishing us a little bit on a couple of things you talked about in the book. The one thing is there was a fishing trip to northern Canada that you took. Maybe you can just give us a little background on that and what we can expect when we read that chapter.
That's the story that won the Robert Travers Award, and that's one of my favorites. It's about a trip I took to northern Canada by myself. I had a good friend of mine. He's an outfitter, and he set me up on a camp on just an unnamed river way up in the wilderness. And I was fly fishing for brook trout, and it was about getting to be alone in the wilderness, and it was it's sort of a self-discovery. One of the things that was involved with that is I struggled with. And you could tell by the struggle with technology and where it belongs, but one of the things I love is music. So part of the story was this internal struggle on whether to bring an iPod way up into the wilderness and use it. And so, it's a fun story to read. I don't think you need to be an outdoor person to like it. As a matter of fact, one of the things with the book that I found pleasing is that wives and children of sportsmen have been picking it up and reading it and enjoying it, and I've been getting feedback from that, so that's rewarding too.
Yeah, it's one of the things I was reading in your press release, is you said this book is not going to make you a better hunter, and it's not going to make you a better angler, but you're sure going to enjoy the stories in it.
In the outdoor world, we've got some good storytellers. When I was younger, I used to read a lot of Patrick McManus stuff. The Grasshopper Trap and Never Sniff a Gift Canoe. They were fun to read. So reading should be fun. Also, I like John Gierach's stuff an awful lot, too. I don't know if you're familiar with Gierach, but puts an element of humanity into the being outside.
Yeah, that's for sure. And one last thing in the book, and you mentioned in the press release here, how the baby boomers almost trampled a sport to death. Obviously, we don't want to give away some things on that, too, but maybe just give us a little taste on what you meant by that.
Well, I've been around a long time. So, and one of the things I look at with fly fishing is, Norman McLean wrote this wonderful book, A River Runs Through It, and then it became this movie that created this invasion of the sport. And so it's basically, before, I call it A River Ruined It, and it's basically before, the expansion and the corporatization of fly fishing and after. In the 80s, there was that, in 90s, there was that mass consumerism, and, everybody was looking to find their soul and thought they could buy it. And so this group went from different types of events to different types of events. So there was a time when fly fishing was overrun with big bucks and and no soul.
So that'll be one other thing to check out. Now, just to give people a little bit of background on you, Jerry, you've literally traveled the whole world, fly fishing and hunting on every continent, and it says except Antarctica. Do you have any plans to make it a full sweep there and head that way anytime soon, or is that something you just went, maybe I can skip one?
I think about it. Obviously, hunting Antarctica is not something you can do.
Right.
But there is fish there. I don't know if anybody's done any fly fishing there, so that's I've started researching it a little bit. There is a trip that goes. It goes to the Galapagos, and then they stop off in Antarctica, so the people there can say they stepped on the continent. So I'm toying with the idea of bringing a fly rod, but I want to make sure I can catch something. I don't know what that would be yet. Probably a cold.
Well, it's something to put on the bucket list, that's for sure. Now, the book itself, Outdoor Chronicles: The Tales of a Lifetime of Hunting and Fishing, I believe that is hitting shelves, Jerry, November the 24th. Am I correct there?
Yep, that's correct. You can pre-order it on Amazon, or you can go to Barnes & Noble and pre-order it now. It's going to make a great gift for Christmas, and I think it's a good read. I think it's a book that, you can... the nice thing is it's a collection of short stories, and it's easy to pick up and put down. It's about 240 pages long, and it's an easy read. So if you're the kind of person that likes stories and likes storytelling, this is for you.
There you go. We'll even put a link to a place where you can get it on our website, too. So if you just want to head to BrainerdOutdoorsRadio.com and check it out. And as Jerry said, make a great gift for the outdoor lover. It's Outdoor Chronicles: True Tales of a Lifetime of Hunting and Fishing. Author Jerry Hamza joins us. Jerry, I appreciate the time. I good luck with the book. And hopefully you get to Minnesota here, look us up, and we'll chat again, okay?
Okay, better yet, take me fishing. Anyway, thank you so much. Take care now. Take care.